Good afternoon, or greeting to whatever time of day or space that you are in. Welcome to class. We're going to practice Vinyasa yoga in this video offering. My name is Alyssa, if we haven't met. Um, Part of this sort of grassroots recording situation is always just being with what's real. So I live outside on the San Juan Islands, and sometimes a dog comes through, or sometimes you hear a chicken call, or you hear some construction or farm work in the background, etc. Or like I have to stop my dog from turning off the recording or something like that. Those things are real and they really do come up. This is me adjusting the camera to make sure it's pretty stable. But just know that, I like to acknowledge that we practice in real life and the real world. That this idea that we can sort of clinically curate our practice so that it's perfect becomes a difficult idea when then perfection doesn't present itself in situations of difficulty, right? Because then we don't have coping mechanisms for them. We can't practice those things. And so this is really an opportunity to practice in whatever way that you'd like. The point of view of the recording is just so that you have accessibility to this if and when you might need it in whatever way that you'd like to. Since we're not in time and space together, then you get to take a great deal of accountability, responsibility, and care for what you actually need. It's totally chill to do 10 minutes of this video and stop, or come back to it when you'd like to, or do a section and pause it and do something totally different that came to you. It's okay to do a different pose, to rest, to spend time just listening, to do a different kind of practice, even though you're participating in a certain way with guidance or time that's held. And it's always okay to disagree, as it were, to do something in a different way because you know what's best, to allow yourself that freedom. The idea is that we're dialoguing even though we're in a different time and space. So you're allowed to have a response of your own, right? It's not just a rote memorization, it's sort of a living tool that we're using. We're pushing and pulling, utilizing our awareness, our ability to take in information, our ability to feel and move in the body. And your body is yours. So you often know what's best as far as how to care for it. You know what actions to do or not to do and how it really works and feels for you. And I encourage you to really listen to that advice, that sort of self advice, even if it's slow to come or seems a little quiet at first. And again, this is an offering that's a bit straightforward. I'm at sort of high noon, middle of the day, warmest part of the summer. So I'm going to offer a little bit of solar salutation practice, mostly sun salutes. We're going to build them slowly, kindly. Please feel free to take your time. But if you're curious about building a home practice of your own, this is a way to start, right? Many of you have lots of excellent teachers who teach different forms of salutations. This is just one format, a reasonably basic format, but you could push and pull on it, change it as you need to, or to create a cycle that's familiar to you, that is part of your own ownership, something that you can interrelate to and interact with, even when there isn't guidance for you. Use it as a little litmus test, a little placeholder. All right, I like to begin this practice by uniting with 3 rounds of the seed sound of Om. I offer Om as a secular chant, acknowledging the interconnection with all things. If for any reason at all Oming or chanting isn't for you, please feel free to sit with us or stand with us in presence instead. Close your eyes or look down or forward at one spot that isn't moving. Rest your hands in relative neutral, somewhere that doesn't draw too much unneeded attention to them. And stack your spine nice and tall. Rest your head over the rest of your body in a way that doesn't require too much attention or management. And that's really often what we're going for posturally, is trying to find neutral. Doesn't mean nothing, right? Some action is required where body's in motion from birth to death, and then after and before. And give yourself a little bit of time and space to notice what it's like to never really be still, to always be moving and in between. To clear and prepare your energetic channel for chanting, take a big deep inhale in through your nose. And open your mouth to exhale, HA. Inhale, prepare for Om. 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 Take a long inhale in through your nose. And a slow exhale out. And let's take a moment. You can remain in a seat, or you're welcome to come to child's pose, bringing the tops of your feet to the mat, your big toes close, the shins and knees to the earth, or maybe to padding. Knees can be wide or together as you settle your hips in the direction of your heels and fold your body forward. Remember that not every pose is for every body. Be kind to your body. Let it have more pertinence and status in this moment than the idea of fitting into the pose does. So you might end up setting yourself up. You might rock forward, more weight into the upper body. You might pad the space between hips and heels, or decide to do a different pose, like laying on your side or your back or in a comfortable seat somewhere on the earth or a chair. You might close your eyes or focus your eyes on one spot to diminish that dependence on external ocular gaze. And then begin to practice pratyahara, the revolving of your senses towards the internal point of view. Begin to pay attention to what you see with your eyes and hear with your ears, what you taste and touch, what you sense with the body. Turn it inward into the internal sense, the organs moving in the body cavity, where muscles feel active or released, where you feel compression in the tissues or extension, old aches and pains. If you start to notice ideas in the body, you might also have a tune into the energy of those things, right? What identities do you hold? Is it always tight in your shoulders? Why, etc. That patterning is energetic, right? You've done it again and again, even if things are chill right now. How are the tension patterns still there? And maybe you have an energetic practice. You could also tune in with emotional point of view. Is there anything to be acknowledged? And the invitation is to be all of what you are, um, which might not always feel all that easy. Right? A practice of being with what really is inside yourself can be a lot. So take your time and remember to be as kind as possible with the big work of that. And as you continue to show up and practice being with how things actually are, you might notice how things are in your thinking mind. What are the thoughts, the form, and the content of them? And how do you identify with them? I know it's still probably will be the rest of my lifetime of remembering that that thing I'm thinking is not me, right? You are witnessing what you are thinking. We still have responsibility for our thoughts, for how we interact with them, but you are witnessing your thoughts, just like your eyes see and your fingers touch, your mind thinks. So, what are you thinking? And how are you emphasizing your focus, right? Just like turning the volume up and down on a mixer to make different sounds more prominent. Which lights of focus are you shining your awareness on? And then we utilize our Ujjayi pranayama, our upward liberating or victorious breathing practice, to give us focus in the ritual of the body and time and space on this planet. You're utilizing the mind's eye of awareness on the feelings, the sensation, the sound, the creation, maybe the counting of your breath. You can breathe in any way you like. If you have an Ujjayi practice that you know and love, go ahead and begin to breathe that way. If you've not done this type of deep breathing before, I'll suggest this snoring oceanic breath, but you're welcome to breathe in a deep way that's authentic for you. I'll guide you in. Exhale the air you have in your lungs right now. Take a long, slow inhale in through the nose. See if you can slowly fill your belly up with breath, and then your ribs, and then your chest. That's how the expansion will feel as the lungs inflate. And hold it mostly full. And then open mouth exhale, HA. And then inhaling again when you're ready into the back of your body, your low back and your back rib cage. You might feel that inflation of the shoulder blades, and holding, retaining with softness. Again, open mouth exhale, HA. Ujjayi pranayama. Breathe in through your nose, snoring. And hold softly at mostly full. Seal your lips and sigh out through your nose. That same HA sound, but through your nostrils. And that's the classic way, inhaling in and out through your nose, slowing down with your diaphragm in the center of your body, that inflation and deflation, so that you can push air out and let it be pulled back in by the vacuum of your body. And slowly begin to move the breath in and out on purpose, and begin to move the body as you see fit. You might wiggle your fingers and toes. You might roll your head side to side on your mat. You might shift your hips. It can be anything or nothing, and it doesn't have to be as has been suggested by me or teachers before. It might also be intuitive based on what you need right now. And as you rise up and forward, take the time. Um, You might head to the tabletop shape and rock your hips from side to side. We'll all head to tabletop in the next round of 5 to 8 breaths. You might head there sooner or later. Sometimes we need to stretch the wrists or address the idea that for us, wrist pressure is a lot. Roll up the mat so you have padding, perhaps, letting your wrists hang off the edge. Experiment with blocks under your hands. Remember that changing the orientation, you don't have to keep your middle fingers forward. You can try wider settings, narrower settings. Seek stability from what feels stable from an internal point of view. And notice any reliance on patterned thinking or patterned tension in your body. Like if that same knot in your neck is working every time you do anything, do you need to redistribute action and awareness elsewhere? Once you find yourself in tabletop, let's find some cow cat breathing. Inhale, drop your belly and ribs, lift your chin and tailbone up. And exhale, tuck your chin and tail. This is the cat pose. Round in, dome your spine. Follow your breath through, inhaling and exhaling. So, a lot of the poses are named for animals. And I've been spending a lot more time with cats. I know a lot of my friends have cats. You're probably even like pushing one off your mat right now, maybe. But I've been hanging out with a kitten named Sherville, and frequently that cat will cat spine, like just to let everybody know like how big cat can be and how much space Sherville can take up. So you might notice the bigness in the back of your body. Often we orient with the front of the body, but remember, full embodiment means embracing all of it. And slowly coming back towards neutral in the next few breaths, using exhale by exhale to minimize and stabilize through the body. And press into your right hand and inhale your left arm out and then up, reaching upward. And exhale to thread the needle underneath and behind as you see fit. Come to shoulder, ear, jaw, and then 3 to 5 breaths here. Any shape with the head that feels soft, sustainable. Any action with the arms that feels of use to you. And always change the landing pad of your face closer or further from the knees. Pay attention to your breath. You might even just think of the pose shapes as containers to help you feel your breath in different areas of your body, or the pressure change of shifting the action of the breath elsewhere because of restrictions or extensions in other spaces. Return your right hand to the mat near your face if you moved it. Inhale your left arm out and then up, reaching upward. Exhale to tabletop, 2 hands on the earth. Good. Inhale your right arm out and up, reaching upward. Let yourself twist to the right. And exhale to thread the needle underneath and behind your left wrist. Come to shoulder, ear, jaw. You can always set up padding for a higher landing pad as well. Breathe. Some of us will use pressure to create torque kindly. Let softness grow where you need it as well, so it's not all a tension move. And also roll your body more down onto your right arm and compress your shoulder more. Different and equally effective approach. And return your left hand to the mat under your nose. And inhale your right arm back out and then up, reaching upward. And exhale, tabletop, 2 hands down. Good. Inhale, cow pose, curl your toes under. Exhale, down dog, lift your hips up and back. So most of what we've been doing now is warming up the body for sun salutations. Breathe. You can bend opposite knee, plug opposite heel down. Bend your elbows, shrug your shoulders, and twist from side to side. Lift an arm, lift a leg. Allow a little free play to be a portion of your actions. You might move through a vinyasa or two if you like. I think that allowing yourself to be intuitive is powerful. Even if at first you feel like you're listening for a sound and like the radio is too low, you need to turn the dial up, or when you're like one station off and you can sort of hear it in the background. And that's normal, I think. The work of listening is so of value. You're already doing it by giving yourself permission to listen to how things are, to create things in your own way. We'll meet in the downward facing dog pose. Inhale, bend your knees and lift your gaze, and exhale your way up to the top of your mat. Let's hang in one more preparatory action, this forward fold Uttanasana. You might grab for opposite elbow with opposite hand or sway from side to side. I suggest bending your knees and noticing if you sort of turn your ankles in or out, if you pronate or supinate, if you turn your toes forward and out or in and back. Just noticing what neutral feels like. It might not look like parallel lines because we're made of curves and arches, right? Very little straight line action in true nature. And in fact, when you see it drawn on the page, it's also likely not really a straight line. It's one of those cool ideas about math, unmeasurable realities. On your next exhale or two, release your arms down to hang out of any chosen grip. And slowly bend your knees and roll up to a standing position. You're welcome to stand up in a different way if it serves you. And once you get to the top, you might roll your shoulders down your back a few times, adjust anything you need to, bend your knees to avoid any head rush action, stack your head over your body. And this is samasthiti, same on all sides standing posture. So this is one of those poses where you can decide what neutral is, and it doesn't necessarily have to look like anything. Some people refer to it as a mudra or an energy, right? So it's not necessarily postural. But I think the awareness of where gravity is shifting right to left and front to back, is pertinent, right? That's a real paying attention to the energy of gravity, the magnetism of the earth pulling you down equally in all directions. So notice you might close your eyes or focus them on one spot just to minimize reliance on external gaze. And instead of looking to stack your body from an aesthetic external point of view, feel your feet on the ground shifting right to left and front to back, and all points in between, always assessing constantly from the moment you enter gravity to the moment you exit it. And you might notice the bend in your knees or the straightening, the tilt of your pelvis. Notice if everything is about managing towards what you've heard is right, and see if you can feel out what neutral actually is, structure that's required for stability and as much ease elsewise. Roll your shoulders back if you need to and stack your head in neutral. Soften your face and hang your jaw. Notice if there's any intention for practice beyond just being with how things are, allowing yourself the power of witnessing, the power of focus, the power of present tense awareness and resiliency, allowing that to be enough. And on your next inhale, flutter your eyes open. Next exhale, tune into what's around you. And slowly at first, Surya Namaskara A. Inhale your arms sideways out and up for Urdhva Hastasana, the arms up pose. You're welcome to keep hands shoulder distance, to bend the elbows if need be. Classic action is to press the palms. Pause, breathe. Rock your weight a little back. Halfway lift, unroll your heart straight out. Exhale, hands down, step back to plank pose and pause. Take an inhale to put your knees on the mat. And on your exhale, lower all the way down. Tops of your feet down for Cobra, Bhujangasana. Inhale, peel your heart forward, out and up. Exhale to bring your chin or forehead down. And let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, Cobra. Exhale, lengthen to lower. Follow your breath through the last set. Curl your toes under, plug your knees down. Inhale through hands and knees, plank. Exhale back to down dog, tail high, heels low, breathing. Feel free to keep bent knees, lifted heels in your down dog. Spin your tail high. Press into your hands so weight is shifting back into your feet, even if the heels are rising. Good. Your next available exhale, step or float to the top of your yoga mat. Land on the soles of your feet. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll your heart straight out. Exhale, forward fold, dive down. Good. Inhale, arms up pose, Urdhva Hastasana, reaching all the way up. Exhale, arms by your side, Samasthiti, stand in relative neutral. Good. Inhale the arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Breathe to lift your rib cage. It's always okay to look forward if that's better in your neck. Exhale, fold forward by sticking out your tail, standing over your feet. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll your spine. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Step back to plank pose and lower all the way down. You can use your knees if you wish. Tops of your feet down. Inhale, Cobra Bhujangasana. Exhale to bring your upper body down and curl your toes from knees or toes. Inhale, plank. Lead with the tail as you exhale to downward facing dog pose. 3 to 5 breaths in down dog. Remember, it's not about the pose you're doing. You could choose to do this in child's pose or in tabletop or in a seat. The idea is that we're using this pose to reset and sustainability, to return to the breath, remind ourselves of what we're practicing. Your next exhale, step, hop, or float to the top of your yoga mat. Land on your feet soles. Inhale, unroll, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, arms out or forward, up overhead, reaching upward. And exhale, Samastitihi, let your arms come down by your sides. Good. A few more like this. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, folding. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plank pose, Chaturanga Dandasana, bend your elbows, lower halfway. Inhale, up dog, swing your ribs forward and up, tops of the feet down, active legs, knees, thighs lifting. Exhale, down dog. You might manually uncurl the toes, tail high, heels low. Breathe in and out through your nose in the Ujjayi form. Continue to notice the desire of the body to sort of run away with action, activity. We've been trained, so ingrained by dominant culture, that to take action, there must be stress, there must be risk, there must be commodity, some sort of gain or loss. See if you can allow the process oriented thinking to come into the way that you practice your postural work so that it can be reclaimed from that mindset. Your next exhale, step, hop, or float forward, arrive on the soles of your feet. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll your spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms up pose, Urdhva Hasta Asana. Press your heels down as you stretch up. Exhale, neutral, Samastitihi, standing. Good. Ekam, inhale, arms up. Due, exhale, fold deeply. Trini, inhale and roll to set. Chatwari, exhale, step or lightly float to Chaturanga Dandasana. Pancha, inhale, up dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Shat, exhale, down dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Ujjayi Pranayama, breathe in and out through your nose. Try to breathe into your back and side ribs. If you've been in a room with me, sometimes I suggest or give hands-on assists when it's appropriate and asked for. Some of you know these assists, but think about what happens in your body when you extend your tail up and back, when you press weight towards your feet, and think about what happens in the center of your body in this forward fold position. Feel for your breath and try not to overmanage yourself towards the idea of perfection. Ain't no pot of gold when your heels touch the ground in down dog. In your next exhale, step, hop, or float forward, land on the soles of your feet. Inhale, unroll, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, arms up pose, reach to rise, inflate to stand up. Exhale, Samastitihi, stand in neutral. Let's do two more. Ekam, inhale, arms up. Due, exhale, folding. Trini, inhale, unrolling. Chatwari, exhale, step, hopper, float. Pancha, inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, face up. Shat, exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, face down. Ujjayi Pranayama, in and out through the nose. If you find anxiety, you can count. But if you're using counting to avoid what is, maybe a more compassionate point of view is required. Allow whatever change, sustainability, and resiliency asks you for to come forth. Exhale, step, hop, or float forward. Land on your feet. Supta, inhale, unrolling. Ashto, exhale, folding deeply. Noah, inhale all the way up to Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Samastitihi, back to neutral. Last one. Ekam, inhale, arms up. Due, exhale, folding. Trini, inhale, unrolling. Chatwari, exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Pancha, inhale, upward dog pose. Shat, exhale, downward dog pose. Breathing in the Ujjayi form. Exhale to float forward, land on your feet. Inhale, unrolling, Supta. Exhale, folding, Ashto. Inhale, Noah, all the way up to Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Samasthiti. So that's Surya Namaskara A in its basic format. You've been doing them, you've done about 8 of them in different formats, 5 in full. You're always welcome to consider that cycle as something that you understand, know, and can push and pull on creatively. We'll do Surya Namaskara B. Ooh, next. I'm losing the flowers to some wind out here, so I'm going to fix that so that it doesn't dump on any more things. It's kind of amazing how nature is with you when it's with you. All right, I bet you appreciated the break to drink some water. Let's do Sun B. Take an inhale. On your exhale, bend your knees and sink your hips low. Utkatasana. Now, again, your knees can come apart a little. It's okay to have your feet together. It's okay to choose hips distance or wider. Take your arms up overhead and breathe. Up overhead is a lot, especially right in here for your shoulders. It's okay to go forward. If you start to feel it in the backs of your shoulders, sometimes just wider will help you go around. Spin your biceps up or bend your elbows. Draw your navel back, flare your tail out, and let there be a backward bend in this pose. Apply a little bit of strength in the center. Lift the floor of your pelvis up. Take another big free inhale in. Exhale, forward fold, dive over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga of your choice. You could always go straight to down dog. Inhale, upward dog if you're flowing through. And exhale, downward dog pose. Step your right foot forward between your hands. Spin your back heel down and inhale to rise up to warrior one and pause. Virabhadrasana, the noble hero pose. Again, your arms can frame your face or you could press the palms. Your shoulders happen to be shaped in a way that's ergonomic. Plug your back heel down. Now, if the back knee can't take this torque, it's always okay to do this as a high lunge with the back heel lifted or a low lunge with the back knee down. Similar results of action. Otherwise, that heel plugging down creates asymmetry. We have to use our abdominals to twist to front face. So don't worry about squaring your hips. Their unsquareness creates the obstacle that strengthens you in the pose. Take another inhale, stretch up, maybe reach up and back. Exhale, chaturanga. Step your right foot back and lower halfway or all the way. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog, and still exhaling, step your left foot forward, maybe a bit behind and inside your left hand. Right heel down, inhale, rise up, breathing. So it can be a short stance pose. It doesn't have to be simply to square your hips. Relax your toes so your heels can settle down. Let the weight of your pelvis drop so you have to use musculature to pull up the abdominal wall. You can back bend if it feels good. Try not to eliminate all of the back bend. Part of what you're practicing. Inhale to stretch. Exhale, chaturanga dandasana. Step it back and lower. Inhale, upward dog, and exhale, downward dog. Breathe 3 to 5 breaths, just like in Sun A. In Sun B, we pause in the down dog pose. Exhale to step or lightly float forward. Land on your feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold and bend your knees to settle your pelvis low. Inhale your arms forward, out or up. And still inhaling, stand up, straighten your knees. Exhale, samasthiti, neutral pose. All right, this one's a doozy. So I'm going to teach 4 more of them. The idea is we would usually do 5. You can also choose to do 3 or maybe just this one and move on if that's the work of creating sustainable practice for you. Take an inhale in. Exhale, bend your knees, sink your hips. Inhale, Utkatasana, fierce pose, arms up. Exhale, folding, Uttanasana, dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog, and the right foot steps for warrior one. Inhale, rise up, Virabhadrasana, 1 breath, and use the exhale to go all the way back down. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog, and still exhaling, left foot. Right heel, inhale, Virabhadrasana, warrior one. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, step it back to lower. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog, and breathe. Definitely the marathon, Sun B. A lot more stamina required of our muscles. Focus on your exhales out of your nose or maybe out of your mouth. You have more muscular control over exhalation than we do over inhalation. The next time a good exhale comes forth, step, hop, or flow forward, land on your feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, a fierce pose, hips low, arms up, still inhaling, stand up. Exhale, samastitihi. Next one, bend your knees, settle your hips. Inhale, Utkatasana means fierce pose. Some people call it chair. Exhale, Utkatasana or Uttanasana, diving over the extending pose. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, step or float back. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog, and still exhaling, step your right foot forward. Left heel, inhale, warrior one. Rise up. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog, left foot for warrior one. Inhale to rise. Strong strike of your back heel as you come up. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Step it back to lower. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, Ujjayi Pranayama. Exhale, step or float forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bend your knees. Inhale, Utkatasana, still inhaling, stand up. Exhale, Samastitihi, bend your knees, hips low. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, right foot for Virabhadrasana. Inhale, rise, warrior one. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Heart open, gaze forward on the way down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog, left foot for Virabhadra. Inhale, rise, warrior one. Exhale, lower, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog, breathe. In and out through your nose. Exhale, float forward. Inhale, unroll, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bend your knees. Inhale, Utkatasana, still inhaling, stand. Exhale, Samastitihi, bend the knees, hips low. Inhale, fierce pose. Exhale, folding. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog, right foot. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog, left foot. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog, breathe. 5 breaths. In and out through your nose. Normal to start to feel fatigue here. Notice your reactions. Sometimes resiliency is saying, I have space to breathe here. I can calm the tide of my experience. Sometimes it's, I need to sit down and take water. Stop altogether. Those things are real. Allow what is true to be true. Continue to pay attention to how things are inside of it. Good. On your next exhale, step, hop, or float forward. Land on your feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bend your knees. Inhale, Utkatasana, still inhaling, stand. Exhale, Samasitihi, last one, bend your knees. Inhale, fierce pose. Exhale, fold to extend your spine. Inhale, unroll halfway. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog, right foot. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog, left foot. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog, Ujjayi Pranayama. Breathe in and out through your nose. Pay attention to how the pressure of breath coming in and out informs you about body structure and ease. Exhale, float forward, land on your feet. Inhale, unroll halfway. Exhale, fold, bend your knees. Inhale, fierce pose. Still inhaling, stand up. Exhale, samastitihi. All right, you've done. You might take a moment to notice how things are, lick your lips and swallow, and I continue to create and futz with the things that I need to so that we have a camera that keeps working here. All right, golden. Let us work into a little bit of slowed down Surya Namaskara A, adapted to a more lunar perspective. So separate leg actions to stretch the hips. Then we'll do a few basic cooling down postures, meditate and rest. From this stance, inhale, take your arms up overhead. Exhale, side body bend to the right. You can pull on your left wrist with your right hand or press your palms or interweave. Halfway lift, unroll. Exhale, forward, fold. Good. Soften your knees and step your left foot back. Long, low lunge. Inhale, cow lunge. Dip your back knee, lift your heart up. Exhale, cat lunge, straightening both legs to round in. Inhale, cow lunge. Exhale, cat lunge. Follow your breath. You're always welcome to take blocks up by your foot. Give yourself some more height. There's also a good version of this, the back knee down, different pressures involved. The next time you're in a long, low lunge, pause. Take an inhale. Exhale, step back to plank pose, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, up dog, or an alternative like cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Breathe in through your nose. Use your exhale to step your left foot forward. Long, low lunge. Inhale, cow lunge. Dip your back knee, lift your heart. Exhale, cat lunge. And again, you might attend to it, the use of props as needed. Give yourself space to go high and low, up and down, to pause where you need to do it differently. You might work with your spine rounded or extended. You might only have one option, which is also valid and real, a good structured body. And the next time your front knee is bent in the lunging, take an inhale to look forward and prepare. An exhale with one or many steps, bring your right foot up to meet your left, hang and forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, folding deeply. Good. Inhale, arms up pose, Urdhva Hastasana, reach to rise up, inflate to stand. Exhale, Samastitihi, let your arms come down to neutral. Inhale, arms up, reaching upward. Exhale, side body bend to the right, press your pelvis to the left, Ardha Chandrasana. Good. Inhale, back up through center, and exhale, side body bend to the left, press your pelvis in the opposite way. Inhale back through center and exhale, cactus arm back bend. Think more about lifting your heart than going backwards. Inhale, arms up, reaching upward. Exhale, fold down. Stick out your tail as you go. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll. Exhale, fold and step your right foot back. Long, low lunge. Inhale like cow lunge. Exhale to downward facing dog pose. You're welcome to do a chaturanga vinyasa in your own breath and meet us here. Take a big free inhale once here and exhale to step your right foot forward between your hands, long, low lunging. And inhale, look forward, prepare. And exhale, step your left foot up to meet your right foot, fold over. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to squat. So widen your feet out, maybe mat's distance, and sink your pelvis low. For some bodies, this is like super fun. For other people, it'll be a little more compressive and difficult. If it's purgatory for you, sit on something instead. You might take your legs even out wide to give yourself space. You are also totally welcome to have your heels lifted or to roll up your mat so your heels have something to land upon. You could have your toes turned out. Some of us will be more narrow about this just based on the Achilles tendon length of our bodies. Take another inhale. Use your exhale to move back into forward folding. Lift your hips and hang your upper body down. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll your heart straight out. Exhale, forward fold. Good. Soften through your knees and step your right foot back. Inhale, unroll your heart. Exhale, down dog. And take a big free inhale in. Exhale, step your left foot forward between your hands. And inhale, unroll your heart. Exhale, step your right foot up to meet your left foot, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, arms up, pose, Urdhva Hastasana, reaching upward. Exhale, Samastitihi, return to neutral. All right. Find a little bit of stretching, addressing the hips and shoulders and moving into rest, which you might find functional if you're creating a practice to do whenever it is you're done. Even if it's 15 minutes of action and then you save 10 minutes for this before resting, that might be the way. Inhale, arms up, reaching upward. Exhale, forward fold, dive down. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll. Exhale, hands down, step back, plank pose, and lower all the way down onto the front seam of your body for spinal strengthening. I'm going to suggest cobra or sphinx. So for sphinx pose, come onto your elbows, lift your upper body. Not so much about height. We're trying to put pressure on the lower back. Active legs, kick your feet down, draw your navel in so there's some resistance. Strap your shoulders into your back. You might even imagine you're pulling your heart forward and up by dragging your elbows back. You might do this work or take work in any form of cobra. You can have hands underneath by the ribs instead of elbows under the shoulders. You can rise up. You're welcome to tent to the fingertips to put more pressure in your hands today. Breathing, 3 more rounds of breath. And exhaling to fold forward when you're ready, body down to the earth. Curl your toes and tuck your tail so you're already drawing your belly in a little. Inhale to press up, hands and knees position. And exhale to press gently back to downward dog pose. You might keep it in the downward frog pose, positioning your knees bent and your tail in the air. Take an inhale to lift your right leg up and back. Exhale to open your hip and bend your knee. You might move your leg around a little or a lot. A nice thing to do really at any time, beginning of practice, at the end. Okay to bend your standing knee to maintain some of that down dog stability. Inhale, stretch and extend your right leg. Exhale, step it forward between the hands and drop your left knee down. Untuck the toes. Rise up onto your right knee thigh. You can always pad your back knee if it feels unstable or take a shorter or longer stance depending on what your anatomy asks for. Draw your right thigh bone back and press your left thigh bone forward so the pelvis has equanimity. Take your right hand maybe to your right knee thigh and inhale your left arm up. And exhale by exhale, we're side body bending over to the right. Now some of us will come more forward to avoid compression in the back. Some of us might go more backward intentionally. You might reach down for the earth or up for your left hand to create other variations. Inhale to rise up, take both arms up. Exhale, open twist to the right, right arm back, left arm forward. You might keep it this way or create leverage by wrapping your left hand or left elbow around your right knee. And press your knee into your hand equally so you have some stability to turn your body with. And slowly inhale back through center, reach both arms up. Exhale, 2 hands down on the inside of your right foot. Toe heel it out to the right a little. You can turn your toes out to the right or roll to the blade of your foot if you wish. You can stay on your hands or come to your forearms. 3 or 4 breaths in dragon or lizard. Some of us do this with the back knee lifted, curling the body behind the front knee, etc. You're welcome to any and all variations. When you're ready, slowly press into your hands and lift your upper body. And we'll take it to pigeon. You can toe heel your right foot across towards the left wrist. Your shin ain't never got to be parallel with the front of your mat. In fact, in most of our anatomies, that's just impossible, if not implausible. Maybe just not worth our time. You're always welcome to sit up on a block underneath your right hip or the front of your left thigh. Sometimes that alleviates pressure in your knee. Sometimes being upright is just too much in your knee no matter what. Roll onto your back and take the figure 4 instead. And stay up on your hands or come forward and down onto your forearms or onto your torso. Hang your head. Try to relax your neck. Again, 5 or 6 rounds of breath. Seek softness and ease even where loud resistance calls. And slowly, the next few breaths, press yourself up. You're welcome to come to a seat or to head back to down dog. You might take a vinyasa or take your right leg up and back and move it around. Come to down dog and roll it around a little, walk it out. Move your thigh bone around in your hip socket a little bit. When you're ready, inhale your left leg up and open the hip. Take a few breaths to move it around, to experiment with how things are. When you're ready, step your left foot forward and drop your right knee to the earth, perhaps patting it. When you're stable, climb up onto your left knee thigh with your hands. Press into the top of your right foot. And some of us can kind of sink into our flexibility, which is okay, but create a little bit of stability so that you have space to move around inside. You're not sort of at that nth degree of resistance. Inhale your right arm up by your ear and exhale side body bend over to the left. Again, you're welcome to any variations, versions. Might be the same from side to side, but it doesn't have to be. Good. Slowly inhale, rise up. On your exhale, open twist to the left. Left arm back, right arm forward. Maybe right hand to the knee. If you'd like to bind to the elbow or do a different version, feel free to. And we're twisting to create spaciousness through the spine. And re-knitting the relationship of all those chevron-shaped muscles along it. Good. Inhale slowly, both arms up, reaching upward. Exhale, 2 hands down inside your left foot. Toe heel it out to the left, sometimes called lizard or dragon. Sanskrit name I learned for this pose is Pristasana. And stay on your hands or come down to your elbows or forearms or crawl underneath. If you're all the way over here, you might consider equanimity. Where does the pressure go? Often it is somewhere around the front hip or leg, but not always. And there's always other pressures to be noticed. What are you observing? I really like that idea about yoga that it's not a workout, it's a work in, that I keep seeing presented by good teachers all over the place. Trying to go inward, trying to figure out what there is to be with. On this side, we're going to do a little bonus pose. So when you're ready, press into your hands, lift your upper body, and curl your back toes under to lift. You're going to walk your hands towards your right foot and turn to the right. You might end up diagonal on your mat. You can always change it. For Prasarita Padottanasana, the wide-footed fold, inhale to unroll, and exhale, folding deeply. You might press your hands into the mat to aim the crown of the head for the earth. There's a lot of different good variations. Some people swear by one version or the other, and figure it out for yourself by trying all the options, by researching them with experience and awareness. You might pull yourself down or push yourself down. It's okay to bend your knees. Try to bring your weight over your feet equally, so not behind your heels. That's so the balls of your feet can press down too. Actively straightening the legs by that pressure, as opposed to performing an idea of straightness. Good. Inhale and roll your heart like a halfway lift. And exhale, walk your hands back over towards your left foot. And once you've gotten your right heel up and your right knee down, toe heel your right foot across. All the dogs have come to join me to the opposite side of the mat, and stay where you are. Though they're doing a pretty good job. You can stay upright or come forward and down. And things might be the same from side to side, but they often aren't. I have a torqued pelvis. My left hip really is very different than the right. And so attending to things in this reality. Symmetry is not required for health. In fact, your spleen, stomach are always on one side and your liver's on the other. Generally, there's a small percentage for who it's the other way around, etc. But just remember, symmetry is not the ask of our experience. What's developed is developed by function. Symmetry has its function, but it's one of many organizational patterns that show up in the you-ness of you, both in the world of nature that you experience within in your body and in the other realms as well. A few more breaths in this pigeon pose, sometimes given other names as well, like swan and dove. Originally named for the sort of proud-chested nature of those birds in the upright, back-bent version of the pose. When you're ready, press into your hands and lift the upper body, and you might change this in any way you'd like. Send your foot back or up. Walk out your legs from side to side. Shift your hips around. And as you eye the gateway between your hands, you can come forward to a seat, maybe by crossing one ankle behind the other, and then coming to sit behind. And take both legs out long in front of you for seated forward folding. Now, if you're really strong in the hamstring or lower back, you just happen to be torqued or tilted in your spine in a variety of ways, you might find that you're tilted backwards here. And that's totally normal and very human. Big part of the population like that, and healthy spines. But as you shift forward on the bones of your seat, you might pull flesh out from underneath you or sit up on something so that the bowl of your pelvis is upright, like it's trying to tilt forward onto your legs. Another option is to bend your knees and put something maybe even behind them, or to keep them bent so you can think about this relationship between your body, your legs, and your pelvis, as opposed to just suffering in your hamstrings. You're welcome to any version. You might grab for your feet or a strap, or reach your arms overhead. Take an inhale as though to halfway lift, unroll your spine, and exhale to fold and breathe. If you're actively pulling with your arms, actively kick with your feet. You're dynamic in all the ways. Try to be kind with your neck, maybe doing very little with it at all. You can also choose to be passive. Let yourself round over your legs and hang your head. Let your feet and ankles be soft. To a different variation altogether. Good, and slowly round yourself up, one bone at a time. Once you're upright, you might scooch forward on your space to keep on rounding down onto your back. Once you're on the back, bend your knees and plant the soles of your feet on the mat. I'm going to offer a little bit of bridge pose. I have blocks around, which gives me the ability to support this pose if it's not something that feels good in an active way in the spine, which it doesn't for everybody. You can also do this with a stack of blocks, a sturdy water bottle, a foam roller, a stack of pillows. Get creative, but make sure it feels stable so your body can relax if you're choosing to do so. Right, so I'll demonstrate both functions. Active function, you might press down into your feet, hands on the earth, exhale, tail up, roll your shoulder blades underneath you and breathe. Now, for some people, that's just the orientation of this back bend. They prefer to do camel, or you prefer to do a upward facing bow pose where you press your hands down and draw your body up, call wheel. If any of those things are true, feel free to do them. If it's also true that just back bending is, don't do it. It's okay. You've done enough of it casually in postures hidden in. It's okay to let your knees come wide and your toes turn out. Now, if you need a more supported form of this, that's where a block or a stack of books might rest underneath your sacrum. Not in the lower back where the curve is, but slightly below that, the true back of your pelvis. You might do that at the low or mid setting. Again, you can do anything from that point you wish with your legs, with your arms. Trying to allow a little bit of inversion, a little bit of backward bending. Try to slow your breath down by focusing on your exhales. About 2 or 3 more rounds of breath. Remembering if you're in the active form, you can always come in or out whenever it feels right for you. And as you're ready, if you're up on a prop, you might take the time to remove it before rolling down onto your to the left and drop over, and you might roll onto the outside edge of your hip and stack your knees and take your right arm out. You might wrap your legs around one another, right leg over left for the twisted root or eagle form. You might take your right knee over and extend your left leg long towards the base of your mat. It's okay not to look to the right. In fact, often it feels funny in the neck, compresses an important group of veins and arteries in the chest and shoulder. So if you feel any tingling or it just doesn't feel like a space where you can unwind, then perhaps modify it, change it, style it to suit the truth of your body and your own wisdom. When you're ready, use an inhale to come back through center and exhale to drop your both legs over to the right hand side and take your left arm out. Breathing. Twisting is a good way to sort of unwind anything else. If you are having back pain, there's a way for you to very softly, mildly, passively twist. Maybe a way to help ease muscles that have been overburdened. And always be mindful. If anything causes you pain, it may not be the advice for you. And on your way through inhaling back through center, you could exhale your knees into your chest and give yourself a squeeze. From here, if there's actions like plow or shoulder stand you'd like to take, feel free to take them. If there's any other finishing postures like happy baby, dead bugs, a fish pose, etc., that you like to do, feel free to do those things. If that was just a list of animals and you're not quite sure what to do, you could hug your knees into your chest and then move into resting in the next 5 to 10 rounds of your own breath whenever it feels really good for you. Remember that resting is really an integration action. So even when we do nothing, choose to have an extended final closing time, maybe even shutting off the video until you're ready to go to rest. Some of us might need an extended resting time, another good reason to turn the video off and give yourself space. Some of us might choose to lay on the side or the back. To resting, you might consider closing your eyes or choosing a gaze spot that feels soft so that you don't waste external energy for what you could be turning inside. You might decide to set your arms and hands in a position that feels like it honors what is for you or that brings attention, ease, or soothing to those spaces. You might choose to get out the last fidgets and wiggles and yayas to move around a little bit as you see fit. And then when you're ready, settling down into neutral, let go of any control you have over your breath. Let your ujjayi soften into organic, unmanipulated breathing. If you need a tether for your mind's eye, you might just listen to your heart beating in your chest, your blood moving in your veins. Otherwise, the offering might be to take in any sense information that comes at you in the broad universe of yourself and your experience. You might allow yourself, until I call you up and out once more, just to lay there, pay attention to how things really are. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasti Navaditamastu Mavit Vashavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. If you're lying in this is ritualized just as at the beginning. Perhaps it is particular to the here and now. And when you're ready, it feels right and good. You could use an exhale to gather your knees into your chest and roll onto your favorite side and pause for a moment. I often offer that you might take this time to reflect in gratitude on the contributing factors to your practice. And I say this particularly about the work you do of yoga on the mat, the work with the self, but you might consider it about your creative practice, your community practice, your work practice, right? Whatever it is that you practice in this lifetime, however you identify the work of mindfulness, awareness, impact, karma, etc. So you might consider, in the broad scheme of things, gratitude for the way things are on this planet, for whatever caused the universe to exist, and all the colliding of stars that made the solar system, and all of the evolution of the planetary functions to this point where our species is thriving in the way it is here and now, for this practice to emerge, to be spread about, to be informed in one way or another. You might consider the ancestors, yours and those of the land you occupy. I'm here on Straight Salish, Samish, and Lumi land. You might consider knowledge of all kinds, teachers of all kinds and lineages that have come to you, effective or ineffective. You might consider the collaborators, boons, privileges, and gifts that have been awarded you, as much as the obstacles, oppressions, difficulties. And consider yourself, your own willingness to turn again and again towards a practice of empowerment, compassion, peace. When you're ready, use your top hand to press yourself up towards the seat, and we'll seal in practice together. That's a traditional chant. I learned it in the lineage of Krishnamacharya, but it exists in a lot of chants. The text is mainly from the Rig Veda, that super duper old G. The overarching meaning is may we together be protected. May we together know joy. May our work for the liberation of all be brilliant. May we not hate, fight, or dispute amongst one another. And may our work together lead us towards universal and cosmic peace. If you wish, you can fold your hands in the Anjali Mudra or hold in your mind's eye that which it symbolizes, the meeting place between seemingly disparate forces. Oppositional things find union, where we store our information, our connection to the soul, to the whole, in the center of the cave of the heart. Thank you for your time, your energy, your awareness. If you wish, you can bring thumbs to the third eye, bow to yourself, seal in your practice. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your practice in this way. Again, feel free to reach out to me if you have feedback, if you need to ask questions, etc. There's lots of ways to do that. I always prefer that it be quite direct, so feel free to direct message me and be direct. I'm here for you, even if you have to directly tell me you disagree or you're upset, etc., and so on. This class is donation based, which really just means that we've removed the commodities. So no one's turned away for lack of funds. So if you need to use this and not give any money, that's okay. Think about your contribution in the world, your contribution to yourself and its value, and how you can find a right energy, a right use of energy around the use of this resource. 50% of all of my proceeds for these classes, film classes, and the small in-person classes and teaching here in the San Juans are all donated to the Black another great way to be supportive of it, let people know who are looking for it. And again, thank you so much. even though we're in a different time and space. I wish you truly wellness, and hopefully we will see each other in this way or others sometime again soon.